morning. It's Sunday, and I just finished watching our church service online, and it was good. Redemption City Church in Franklin, Tennessee. It's one of the only churches I know that actually has their own farm that grows food to give to the needy in the area. So I think last year they had 30,000 pounds of food they gave away. The year before was 40,000 pounds. And next week we're going to start planting again to do it all again. So that's really cool. But it's really cold. I think the wind chill right now is 17 outside. And I just uploaded a video on a house update, and I was realizing that I never really gave a good rundown on my electrical with the solar. So when I was doing my install, I was trying to research everything I could about solar and how much to buy and what to use and this and that. So I'll give you a quick rundown. So to start out, we have the solar panels. So let me turn the camera around. So I have 16 panels. Each one is grouped into fours. Okay, so 2 panels are in a series, and the 2 top ones are in a series, and then those go in parallel to each other to go into the barn. Now, I still need to tie up all my wiring and stuff, but there's always projects. So the reason I did that is because they were putting out too much power for my charge controller. So basically, like this panel and this panel are together, and then I use this little Y connector to connect them together, and then that runs into the barn. Okay, and I got those buried in a 3-inch or 4-inch, probably 3-inch pipe I think I put in that runs into the barn. Okay, so let's go in there and take a look. Okay, this is the electrical room. Let's turn the light on. Now this looks crazy because there's a lot of wires. Alright, so let me break it down. The wires come in through the floor and come over here. And these are all the wires coming up going to my charge controllers. Okay, so a charge controller controls the power coming into the panels and how much power charges to the batteries. So I have 4 charge controllers. Each one is set for a group of 4 panels. So this will do 150 volts at 60 amps, from what I understand. When I put my panels in a series, all 4 together, that doubles my voltage. And the panels were set for 33 volts, and in reality they put out 38.5 volts, and that put me over my 150 amps. So that's why I had to do 2 panels in a series, top and the bottom, and then put them in parallel, and then it's coming in right at 80 volts. So that works fine. So each one of those is set like that. Okay, and then that goes down to the batteries. Now the batteries, I have 16 Battle-Born lithium batteries, and that's going to put out 800 amp hours. Okay, I think you can buy a kit with an inverter and 8 batteries is the kit. So basically I have 2 kits. Okay, so then from the batteries, they come up and they go through, the positive goes through this fuse right here, through the switch, and then into this bus bar. Now all the charge controllers go into the same bus bar, and that feeds power back to the batteries. Now from here I have 2, I think those are 2 gauge cables that are coming out and going in to the inverters. Okay, the negative comes up from the batteries right through here, and it goes through this shunt, okay, which goes to this shunt right here, and this measures how much power the batteries are going in and out, and that goes into the inverters as well. Okay, now a little fun thing I have here is the Servo GX. Now the Servo GX is kind of like the Mastermind. all the charge controllers, the inverter, everything was plugged into here, and then that plugs in to my internet. And so I can monitor my panels from my home in Nashville, and I know exactly what my power's doing. Now, on the inverters, oh, one last thing, on the Servo GX, it has a handy dandy little control panel, and you can see right now, I'm at 61%. I'm pulling 247 watts, but my panels are putting out 4,000 watts and 4,050, 64 watts charging my batteries. So my batteries are low right now, so that's charging everything back up. I have about 5,200 watts total on my panels, so they're cranking pretty good. So that's putting in, so I got, the batteries are at 27 volts, and I'm putting in 127 amps, 129 right into those batteries. Now the inverters, I have 2 of them. So each one of these is a Quattro 24 5,000 watt at 120 volts. Now they are connected together via this little blue cable, okay? And they're set up in a single phase, but they're 180 degrees out of sync with one another. So basically they're working together, and then these orange cables is what's going into this panel here. Now what I have is I have one inverter controlling this side, the other one controlling this side at 120 volts each, out of phase. So out of that, I have this aluminum mobile home cable that I use to run to my house, and I have that going through a 60 amp switch right here, so I can turn the house off right here, and then that comes out and goes down to go into the house. Okay, I trenched all the way back there, all the way down. Now I have the cable, but I also have a 1-inch pipe running, and what I did was I ran my Ethernet cable through that 1-inch pipe to separate it from the electrical, so I don't get any interference on my line. And I'm running that into the house. I haven't figured out where I'm going to run the Ethernet cable into the house yet, but over here we're required to have an outside disconnect, and that's what this box is. Let's see if I can get it open. Okay, so that's all live. So I have 4 cables coming in right through here. My hot ones come in through the bottom ones from the barn, and then out of the top I have them coming back in, and then that's what's feeding into the house. Now I didn't have the right connectors to connect all that right, but it won't take me long to fix that. I have my ground coming from the barn, grounding out here in the panel. I have the ground from the house grounding here at the panel, and then this copper ground goes to an 8-foot ground rod, and then I have the brass connector I bought for that. So that's how that goes into the house, and this is just an on-off switch. There's no fuses. Okay. Okay, so from the panel outside, I don't know if you can see this, I have my wires coming in. So my ground comes in, and it goes all the way up there to where all the ground wires are. This is one side of my power, other side of my power, which feeds right into this 200 amp switch, and then my neutral connects here with the neutrals, which are all the white wires back there. Okay, and that's it in a nutshell. So turn that on. Okay, so now everything in the house should work. If I turn on the switch, I have lights. I can come over here, turn on these switches, and I got the kitchen lights. So that all works. And that is it.